the number one reason that I see that people have chronic dizziness even after completing their vestibular rehab. They haven't then progressed to challenge their inner ear enough. So today's video, I am going to show you how to do a vestibular rehab gaze stability progression. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Amy McMillan. I am a mobile vestibular therapist in Northeast Ohio, and I have this channel to help other people at home who may not be able to have access to a vestibular therapist to have tips and tricks to treat their dizziness at home. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and share so we can keep growing this content and channel together. With that, let's get started on our vestibular exercises. So if you have been diagnosed with a hypofunction or in need of vestibular therapy, maybe you have already tried it, and maybe you think that you did all that you can do in your vestibular therapy. I'm gonna tell you about how you should be progressing so you know that you have gotten the most challenge out of the inner ear, that you should be able to shop, walk, drive without causing any of your dizziness to increase. So when you're talking about gaze stability exercises, you've heard in my videos before, they are the foundation of vestibular therapy. We want that inner ear, brain, and eye complex to talk back and forth with one another quickly and at the same speed. This way your eyes stay stable on a target when you're walking and you don't get dizzy. That's the whole function of the vestibular system. So when you're first starting out, depending on the acuity or how new, how fresh your injury is, if you've been diagnosed with a hypofunction, you're going to use gaze stability exercises. We're gonna go through the most popular exercise, but I have a protocol of about 5-6 exercises, and I take my patients through this progression. So we'll start with gaze stability, VOR times 1. If you're very, very dizzy, you're going to be laying down. I think I may have had 1 or 2 patients in about 15 years that I needed to start while they were laying down. And that might be someone who's just had an acoustic neuroma or some kind of brain surgery that does require vestibular rehab, but it's super fresh. So supine, or laying down, would be how you first start the exercises. The second progression would be seated, with your flat back up against a chair, your feet flat on the ground. You're going to take your stick right through here, a small target, and you're going to start moving your head as quickly as possible with keeping the image clear or just on the edge of blurring. So normally I ask my patients to get up to 240 beats per minute eventually. It's not all at once. So that's the speed. It's bump, 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 back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. Your goal is to be able to get to a minute or 2 of that particular exercise. Again, keep the image clear or just on the edge of blurring. So if you can't do that, you are allowed to move your head slower. Progressively, you're going to work up to that quicker speed. Do you have to do 1 to 2 minutes all at once? Absolutely not. The research says that you can do them in short little spurts through the day as long as you get 12 to 20 minutes of gaze stability exercises a day. So you can break that up without any issue. So after you get your exercises done, and remember, they are meant to make you a little dizzy if you do need them, and then it should come back down within 2 to 3 minutes, maybe even quicker. After that, we're gonna do our up, down, up, down, up, down, trying to get to that 240 beats per minute, 1 to 2 minutes long. If you no longer have dizziness with that exercise, congratulations, you are ready to progress to the next, which would be standing. So now my exercise in standing, I'm going to repeat the same thing. Left and right times 1 minute, up and down times 1 minute. After achieving standing with feet together, left and right times a minute, up and down times a minute, I'm gonna ask you to progress to something unsteady, maybe like the Bosu ball or a foam pad. If you can't use your feet or your somatosensory system, you're going to have to rely on the inner ear. So it's an extra challenge for the inner ear. So when you're ready, we progress to something unsteady. Have a chair here just in case. And we're doing our left, right times 1 minute and up, down times 1 minute, getting to that 240 beats per minute. We did our unsteady surface. Next, the progression is walking, making it as functional as possible for that inner ear. That is our whole goal. Make sure that you are practicing vestibular exercises at your most vulnerable or at your most dizzy producing task. So So we get our head moving, and then you're going to start walking at your speed. I'll go backwards, you do not have to. Just to repeat that for 1 minute left and right, and 1 minute up and down walking. The last progression that you're going to do is walking outside. So if you are a hiker, if you like to walk in your neighborhood, if you are a football player, basically the gist of this is do your exercises at a task that makes you dizzy. So most patients don't have dizziness in seated after a few weeks, so that's why seated vestibular exercises no longer challenge or work. So the next step would be, oh, I'm dizzy when I stand. So now I'm going to do my vestibular exercises in standing. And then we just progress from there, all the way from the unsteady surface, which simulates outside, to walking outside, to walking on unsteady terrain outside. Match what makes you dizzy, and you're more likely to challenge that inner ear and lead to a full recovery. Hopefully you found this valuable. Please feel free to subscribe, like, and share so I know that you want me to make more content like this. Until I see you next week, stay healthy, stay strong, and stay steady.